Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday, and it's been a long week, but excited to see you all. Super flattered to have Leslie Nelson from eXp Realty joining us as our Realtor of the Week.
Well,
thank you, my friend, for coming on.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah.
Very first podcast ever.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So this is terrifying.
No, it's super easy. Obviously, Ashley, your transaction coordinator.
Yeah.
When I said I need somebody amazing to come on as my Realtor of the Week, your name popped up immediately. So,
Oh, very flattered.
Thank
She's
you.
the best.
Thank you for
She's the real
joining
brains
us.
behind my operation.
Well,
so.
we'll dive into her. She'll get her airtime. Relax, Ashley. You'll get your time. So tell me how you've been born and raised Minnesota.
Yep. Raised in White Bear. We
Yeah.
lived in the same house from when I was born all the way through high school. My parents are still up there. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They're still in the same house.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
So deep roots there, and then went to Mankato for undergrad.
Got it.
Grad school at the U of M, and then kind of made my way down the east side of the cities. I lived in Eagan, Apple Valley, and now I'm in Lakeville. So
Fantastic. So if y'all don't know Leslie, it's we're going to dive into her major because I'm looking at this thing going, what in heaven's name is
it's
this?
super useful right now.
I'm thinking, ay. So dive in.
So undergrad, growing up, I always said I was going to be like an oceanographer, a marine biologist, something along that vein. So my parents thought for a really long time that I was going to end up moving to a coast. But I went to undergrad at Mankato at 18. I just wasn't quite ready to move that far away from home. So I was
right.
Just stay in state for this one, and then I'll go to grad school somewhere exciting. But I did my undergrad in ecology and zoology.
Okay.
And then took a year off and worked for the Minnesota DNR, worked in invasive species, the fisheries department, and freshwater mussels. So I did a lot of scuba diving for them.
Yeah.
And then I ended up in grad school at the U of M. I met a boy at college. He kept me in state, that age-old tale. But I was able to find a professor at the U of M that would work with me on a sea turtle project.
I'll be darned.
So he had applied that strategy towards fisheries and walleye. It's like a growth and reproduction statistical modeling program.
Yeah, cool.
And he was like, well, let's see how it works on sea turtles. So part of agreeing to work with him, I said, I'll use your program. I'll do the stats and all the data crunching. But I need to be able to study somewhere. Go somewhere cool, like live it up for a little bit, do my travels. So it was kind of a two-part. I did the numbers and computer stats modeling, and then I also did a little bit of field work down in Antigua.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you're saying Lake Minnetonka doesn't have many sea turtles?
No, but they have a lot of zebra mussels.
Okay.
I did a lot of invasive species stuff over there.
I bet you did. Well, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So that led you into real estate.
Yeah, direct segue. No, so I finished my master's. Gosh, I don't even know what year it was anymore.
I know.
Whatever, regardless.
Welcome
there was
to getting older. Yeah.
There was a federal hiring freeze as soon as I finished my master's.
Oh,
so
wow.
all of the big national programs like NOAA and the Park Service and all of those weren't hiring. There were no funds.
Boy, oh boy.
So I decided to get into something to kind of bridge the gap, and I found a sales position within the fitness industry. So fitness was kind of a secondary interest of mine. I met my husband on the track team at Mankato.
Oh, cool.
But I was like, this is a 6-month thing. It'll be short term. Well, it turned into I really like the customer service and sales kind of side of things. So I stayed in that a lot longer than I thought I was going to.
Right.
And then we decided to build a house.
Yes.
And
Lakeville?
I was in Lakeville.
Okay.
Yep. So I was on the consumer side of new construction and loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. And I was getting burnt out in my other position. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the fitness industry, but it's like,
yes.
It is 5 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Yes.
And I was a manager, so I was going in at any time that I was needed.
All the problems end up with you.
Yep. So I needed something with a little bit more reasonable hours.
Yeah.
And pretty much any industry, even real estate, is more reasonable compared to that.
And that's saying a lot.
Right. So I looked into real estate. My husband was like, "Would you want to work for a builder?" And I was like, "Maybe." So I started picking our sales rep's brain, and I was like, "This sounds really cool." And the builder that we had been working with, they had kind of like an onboarding program.
Oh, cool.
That it was called the junior program. So
Training.
junior sales representative. Yep. So they brought in people from outside of the industry to learn their systems and their floor plans and everything while you're also getting your real estate license.
Yeah.
So you're on a modest salary during kind of that training period.
Beautiful.
And then by the time you have your license and you know how everything works on the back end of their company, you're ready to hit the sales floor. So,
That's a brilliant model.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Edina Realty does some of it. I know Realty Group has kind of some of their stuff.
Yeah, yep.
But it's brilliant. And I think that even with the mortgage world, so often people get thrown in that are green as can be. Here's an application, good luck.
Yep.
And that's a horrible way to do
it's
it.
just trial by fire.
Yeah, I mean, that's painful, but you survived, got well
did.
trained.
Yep.
How long did you work for the builder? Any mention of the builder?
It was
or-
about 3.5 years. It was
Okay.
a national builder.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Wow, good.
Loved it. It was just so cool to not only have like the kind of behind the scenes in-depth knowledge of the construction process and
Yeah.
really you get to see this open farm field turn into a community, and you know every single one of the people living there.
Yes.
It's just such a unique experience. And you get to, you're in the same spot for a year or two. So you see families grow and they get their new pets and like
Yeah.
everyone's walking around with their new puppies. And it's just a really, really interesting and neat perspective on the industry, because a lot of times in the existing, you work with someone for the couple of months when they start the home search to when they close, but then you don't see them in person a whole lot after that.
Correct.
So every single day that I was going to work, I was seeing the customers that
You
I got to
helped.
help through the process.
Was it? I've dealt with M&I, Mattamy down in Florida, and the one thing that I was shocked at though is that once you represent them on a build,
Yep.
it's not like they're calling you to say we're moving up,
Right.
or out,
Yep.
because you're just handling that deal. I thought that was quite odd.
Yeah. So for national builders, my understanding is typically, from my experience too, you can only rep the builder.
Yeah.
You cannot sell other existing
Yeah.
homes. Your sales manager is your broker.
Right.
So yes, while I was there, I was only selling the builders' homes, which kept me plenty busy. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
of
have had
course,
time
of
to do
course.
anything else
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
But
yeah.
on the smaller side, smaller builders, oftentimes their reps can also sell backup homes. But
It's amazing to me. So in Minnetrista, they're building 500 homes. So to your point, these poor people don't have a speck of time,
Right.
I mean, there's just constantly things going on. Have you have you been able to maintain those friendships that you had from there? Brought them over to an EXP. Well, did you go to EXP next?
yes,
Okay.
I did go to EXP. And I love that job so much. It was such a fantastic learning experience, but we started a family.
Yes.
And when you work for a builder, just like with any other, W-2 career, because it is W-2,
Yeah.
you have a set number of days off and you have expected model hours. So I had to be there every single weekend. And I just found myself missing out on a lot of,
Kids.
my kids' lives.
And hubby and everything else.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
and we were also in the age where like it was everyone's bridal showers
Of
and
course.
baby showers and bachelorette parties and everything. So, it was absolutely worth it while it was worth it. But there was just an inflection point where I was like, there's more important things that I have to consider. So I ended up making the transition to existing.
EXP,
But-
how did you learn about them?
I kind of describe it as like I just made a happy accidental landing.
Yeah.
Where like I obviously, so when you move brokerages, you don't want your license to get frozen choosing between brokers if it's not
course.
hung anywhere. So you kind of
Yes.
just have to put it somewhere.
Right,
And like
right.
problem solve and figure it out after that.
Yeah.
So I went to EXP right away. I didn't know if that was going to be, my long-term forever home, but it was a happy landing and I've been, super comfortable and I've had a great support there.
How long's
So
that been?
It'll be 2 years in August.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
John Murphy is a great friend of mine. Used to be the broker. There was a transition period for EXP, and I couldn't tell you the number of years ago, but he was a broker, right? The stock was $7, whatever, and we were always talking about that. But it was cool to watch EXP grow.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was always their model seems to be a team lead brings a person in. Now you're part of that team. I applaud you because you're not part of a team and it's you.
Yeah.
How has that been?
So I made a very conscious decision to be a solo agent versus
Yeah.
on a team.
Yeah.
And I made that knowing full well that it was going to be a slower growth trajectory because, a lot of teams have like Zillow partnerships and stuff like that where
Right.
they're able to supply leads. And I knew going solo that I wasn't going to have that. I was going to be generating all my own leads. I was going to be working, my own sphere of influence and all of that. But I wanted to build a business that really resonated with how I wanted to be long term. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
course it does.
much more like relationship based and not just kind of churn and burn, meeting people that I didn't know at houses for the first time and,
Open
trying
house,
to
yeah.
create a relationship from there. So yeah, I made the conscious decision to take a little bit slower path and build a business that truly represented me and what I valued and be able to make, some of those top end decisions on my own about like how I wanted clients to be cared for.
So now we're going to give your husband and your son
Yep.
due respect. So you met him in college.
Yep.
And we're going to round this up, the whole deal. How old's your son now?
He turned 3 last month.
3.
Yep.
What the heck? They're getting old, huh? Pretty exciting, though.
Oh, it's so exciting. He's so fun.
Well,
It is wild, but it's so fun.
where I go with that is God bless your husband for putting up with your profession. It's hard. And you work often, you work weekends, you work evenings. You're constantly thinking about work. Pure
Yeah.
commission, right?
Yep.
It's balance. How do you keep that balance amongst family? But where I was going with this is because now your son is 3, you start meeting people.
Yep.
Meeting other families.
Yeah.
And it allows your personality to shine. And that's how you want to grow your business.
Yep. And it's, he's done like the very first of like his gymnastics classes and swimming lessons and stuff. We're like just starting, no pun intended, to like dip our toes in to those things. But part of the decision of going to the existing side and being able to control my schedule was, to never miss the Saturday morning soccer practices and stuff like that.
Amen.
So to be able to prioritize that side of life. And then, eventually it does have the secondary benefit of creating a new sphere of people that you get to meet and connect with and, hopefully eventually help build your business. But
It's so cool. In our neighborhood, we just had our grandkids over yesterday, Father's Day. Whoops, I'm recording this on Wednesday. Sorry, 2 days ago. Sorry, y'all, But anyways, had the grandkids over and, 1 and 4. And that age is so wild because it's when you get older, your tolerance, right? Of the crying, of the food all over the floor, of the just like toys everywhere.
and when they don't live at your house.
And when they don't live in your house. But on top of your son, you got 2 beautiful dogs.
Yes.
Wow.
They are chaos of their own.
Labs?
Yes, they're both chocolate labs, 7 and 4 now.
Wow.
Yeah, we got Coda, our oldest dog, when we had our first house. So he's the real OG. He's been around for a while.
Yeah.
And then Kenai was our COVID puppy.
Oh.
So we got him March 2020.
Got it.
My husband's a police officer. And
cool.
they
Good.
kind of switched their schedule when we hit COVID.
Yeah.
And they were, what was it? I want to say they had like 3 days on, 8 days off.
Sure.
So there was never going to be another time in our life where someone was home and would be able to take care of a puppy for 8 days in a row.
Right.
So we're like, let's get another one. This is a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, and then we had a kid, and now we have a puppy and a kid, and you're like, what in the world were we thinking?
So now is he a police officer in Lakeville?
Burnsville.
Burnsville.
Yep.
Okay. My son-in-law, father of the grandkids,
Okay.
is down in Lonsdale.
Oh.
He's a sheriff down there.
Gotcha. Well,
Was a
thank him for
state
his
trooper,
service.
and so I applaud your husband tremendously. I mean, it's a tough job.
Yeah.
And especially when you got family and kids, that worry about you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you worry?
A lot when he started. We were also very young. He got hired right out of college.
Okay.
So
good.
we were 21, 22 when he started working in
Right.
that line of employment. So yes, a lot back then. I think you get a little bit desensitized to it over time.
Yeah, of course you do.
Like you have to acclimate because your life still has to move on. You can't go every night not sleeping.
Yeah, correct. I mean, does he work evenings?
He works days now, so
Okay, good,
he's gotten
good.
enough seniority to
Good.
be able to work on the day shift. But yeah, he worked nights for, I don't know, 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be darned. Well, good. I mean, that's good for you. So tell me about real estate. What are you thinking of this market right now, inventory-wise? How's your business?
Gosh, well, I don't have a huge long track record to compare my business to. I mean, there's some fabulous agents who have been in it for,
3 years,
10,
maybe,
15, 20 years, and they can speak to what this market is doing for them versus, pre-COVID and everything. I made the wonderful business decision to switch careers in August of 2022,
Okay.
right as interest rates spiked.
Yeah, of course.
So,
of course.
so the 7% rates is all that my business has ever known.
Yeah. But you know what? That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, I mean, I always, guys are asking me all the time, I've done it forever, right? But people don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
They want to hear what are you about? What is your passion? What do you know real estate inside and out because one, you lived building.
Yep.
You worked at a builder. And now you've got plenty of experience and plenty of happy clients in the regular world.
Yeah. I mean, I think, kind of a really unique progression through the real estate industry for sure. But I don't know. I'm glad that this year, every month we've had 10 to 15% more inventory than the same time last year.
Yeah.
So that's definitely great for buyers. But it just feels so unpredictable right now. And I was just at a meeting before this and I was talking to some other agents and lenders, like, that's just so irregular right now. We don't know exactly what to expect week to week. Like we went through May, what was it? It was Mother's Day and then Memorial Day and then school got out. And so things were quiet for a few weeks with like the really nice weather and all those holidays. And then a week later, we got slammed in on a listing that I had sitting a little bit longer. We had went into multiples with 4 offers in one day. I was like, what in the world is happening? And then, through the summer, I feel like year to year, it depends on whether, people are going to get their stuff together and try to move before the school year starts, or do they hold off until after Labor Day and then start searching, but then the holidays hit. I don't know. This whole summer just it feels a little chaotic, and a lot of it goes with the weather trends too.
Oh, and we've gotten so much rain too. It's been crazy. But I've been through 31 years of this, right? So this is what it does to you, right there. But I mean, I'm telling you what, as long as you stay consistent, persistent, and patient, the stuff happens, right? Every day, have a list of people you're going to call, friends you touch base with, former clients you call, and that consistency happens. But it's oftentimes when we seem to fall victim to those times. Well, it's school, so therefore I'm going to take like a month off to figure this stuff out because everyone else is. Well, then all of a sudden October comes in and going, what is going to happen now, right?
Yeah.
So all of it, people still buy. People still sell, whether interest rates are 8, whether it's Christmas, whether it's, holiday season, I guess is a political way to say it. Holiday, this last winter was crazy.
Yep.
We had no snow, right?
Yep.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, there was no seasonal break from all the people that didn't want to move in 2 feet of snow.
Right.
I actually have a couple of buyers right now that are like holding off, waiting for the colder weather because they want to see the slowdown in the industry that happens when people don't want to move.
Yeah.
There's snow on the ground, and I was like, well, just to let you know that didn't happen last year. So
Well, and I think
you gotta wait, but
we talk about this. You and I have talked about this, where interest rates are up. Well, I'm gonna wait till rates drop. Really? Why? Because then the buyers are going to come out of the woodwork. Then home values are going to go up. So buy now, right? I mean, that's what you've got to do. So we have a mutual friend. This is the Ashley Miller time. How did you two meet? Ashley Kaler Miller is a great friend of ours. And a transaction coordinator that is a rock star.
yeah, she owns Transaction Exchange.
Yeah. Owns, yep. And then if you ever need help, she is amazing. And she's been on the show, right? So you've seen that. What do you think?
Oh, she's the best. She's the best. When I transitioned from new construction into existing, I mean, a lot of my job with new construction was paperwork.
Yeah.
And going into existing, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
So like one of my very first weeks out on my own, I was interviewing TCs, someone to do the back end work, to keep track of timelines, all of that for me. And I did a few Skype interviews, and she stood out from the rest. Like, it was just a normal, casual conversation with her. And, so she has been on since before my very first existing transaction. I had her in place.
How is that process? So you get a PA.
Yep.
Right? You just hand it over to her, or do you kind of create a cover sheet to explain what you need?
I don't create a cover sheet. If she wants me to, I can.
Right. But I mean, she has to understand what the people are about, what their
Yes.
contacts are.
Yep.
But then you just transition it over to her.
Yeah. Yep. So, and TCs have different offerings, I guess you would say. Because like on the listing side, they can help you with like putting all the data into the MLS and everything. So even before the listing goes live.
Yeah.
Or they can come in after the time of contract. So like on the buy side, when I have an executed PA, I email it over to her, and she's able to go into like my systems on the back end, transaction desk and everything.
Yeah.
And see all the paperwork from along the way, pull all of the, disclosure documentation and everything I've had the buyers sign. And I just let my clients know, we're under contract. You're going to start getting emails from Ashley as well. She's my, kind of my back end accountability side. She does a lot of the paperwork. But she is such a saving grace. She has saved me so many hours of, sitting at the computer, plugging away at things. If I, need something done in a timely manner, I just text her and say, hey, can you send out an amendment on this address that says, yep, exactly. And it's taken care of within minutes.
Yeah.
She's the best.
Well, and so do you find out with your clients, because I deal with this same with my processor, right?
Yep.
Do you feel like you have to still be engaged with your buyers, sellers every single week, or does Ashley Band-Aid that to the point where you really don't have to be in contact with them at all?
I still stay in contact with them, but that could certainly change for an agent that's at a different stage in their career, who has scaled their business, and has, more of a systems in place. I'm still very hands-on with all my clients throughout the process.
Yeah.
So if I'm having Ashley send a document, I still send them a quick text and say, hey, a document's coming out that says this. So they're not just getting a random email that they don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
So yeah, for right now at this point in my business, I am still the main point of contact, keeping in touch with clients, but I'm sure Ashley has agents and, offerings and systems and everything put in place for the realtors that need a little bit different touch points. And I've been able to kind of personalize my process through her too, because she obviously has a system that goes through every single step in the process, making sure we got all the paperwork done. Yeah. But she's also been able to add a couple for me that are like a little bit more personal touches. So like adding a get to know you questionnaire for my clients that helps me like assemble closing gifts with all their favorite things and stuff like that. So she lets you customize along with making sure that all the very formal pieces are done too.
I think that that's so critical because I've had the luxury of interviewing a lot of realtors doing this, and it's that 2-year, 3-year, 4-year call or semi-annual call where you can pull up your notes and say, how are your 2 dogs doing?
Yep.
And how, boy, your son's gotten to be, must be 6 now, right?
Yep.
Because you take the time to get those notes, that's
Yep.
important.
Yeah, and I make sure to gather like anniversary dates and birthdays and
Yeah.
stuff like that because I have a system that sends.
Cards and
Yeah,
et cetera.
I mean, on the first, I say it's a system. It's nothing fancy. Just on the first of the month, I fill out all of my cards for clients who have birthdays or anniversries. Yep.
Good for you.
For that month. And I mean, people don't care if their birthday's on the 17th and you send it on the 1st. Like, they don't
Correct,
care.
correct.
The fact that you remembered and you have that personal little touch is what matters. So.
And the other misnomers, my writing at times can be like a 3-year-old, right? You're just going, you're stressed. And I don't think it matters how you write at all. The fact that you send a note that's handwritten shows that you care.
Yep.
Right?
100%.
And I think that is so important.
Yep.
I applaud you for doing that.
Yeah. Or like little pop buys throughout the year too, I think make a huge impact. And whether you actually hand deliver it and put it on the doorstep, or if your business has gotten to the point where like you just need to mail them because you can't take 3 days driving around the cities and, west side of Wisconsin or wherever you're licensed.
Right.
If you can just do something like a little bit personal, like their favorite salty snack and treats for their dog,
right,
or something like that. Like it just goes so far.
It's they call it the low hanging fruit. The people that know you, like you, trust you, and refer you, right? So the more you stay top of mind with them, the better. So what is your method of communicating with your clients? Are you you said text earlier.
Yeah, my preferred method of communication is text just because I can't always, hop on a phone call. But when I start a transaction with someone or get a representation signed, I actually ask them, what's your preferred mode? Email, phone call, or text? And I cater what I do to what their preference is.
Right. I think it's so terrific. And so how has this all been now that your son is around the house all the time, right? Do you do
he's
daycare?
In full-time daycare.
Okay, good.
Yep. So I'm able to run what I would consider like a full-time business. While he's in daycare.
Good.
And I still would not be able to do this without my husband that has like the more reliable, steady W-2 income, right? But like also our local family too. They have really stepped up helping because it's on weekends and both my husband and I work weekends. So
well, and I think that it's what's cool about that area that you're in, it's growing, right? Like crazy. And you have the ability to grow with that. Do you find yourself volunteering? How do you get to meet people?
Great question.
Or is it just naturally?
I would love to do more volunteering than I do right now. We have a pretty full plate as a young family. I would love to get to a place where I'm able to do that regularly. But a lot of it is like neighborhood activities. Like I have what I would argue to be the best neighborhood in the South Metro, if not the Twin Cities. We have the best neighbors. We routinely do like group get-togethers in every October. I shouldn't say every, the past 2 Octobers, and it'll keep going. But we host like a chili cook-off at our house, and we had like 100 people that came to our house last year. And
holy buckets. I
want to say like 16 chilies that entered. And it's just our neighborhood. We all just like walk to a house that's having some event that's going on. A couple nights ago, there was like a live country band playing in someone's backyard.
Wow.
It's just the most fun on the
everyone has
Cinco
kids.
de Mayo. Yep, everyone has kids. It's a relatively new neighborhood, so you're attracting younger families,
like-minded. Sure.
On Cinco de Mayo, they do like a progressive dinner where like 7 different houses volunteered to make. You start with like chips and salsa at one, and then margaritas at the next. Then you walk down the street and you have taquitos, and then it's relatively simple things, but like just getting together and doing community activities. That's a lot of what like our social life is right now.
But that's if you can get past the second home with the margaritas, and get to the third, I'm just saying, that's my problem. But that's the best thing about that stuff, because like you said, that's how you want to build your business.
Yep. Very relationship based, less churn and burn with people that you may not have as like ideal clients or be perfectly aligned with. I would much rather build a long-term repeat and referral business with
friends.
people. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
What, where do you see yourself in the next 5-6 years? I mean, is your goal to have a team, or is it just to keep being you?
I don't know. Having a team isn't out of the question. I'm certainly not at the point where I'm
EXP
like
pushes
actively.
Or no?
Not that I've felt.
Okay, good.
I've been able to connect with a good handful of other solo agents because, I mean, when you choose to be a solo agent, you're choosing to forego like the automatic sense of community and support that you get with a team. Teams like certainly have that benefit, and also like supporting your clients too, because we're just one person. We can't be everywhere at the same time. So if you have a team, there's a little bit more sharing and caring for each other's clients. So as a solo agent, finding or like being very intentional and finding other people to connect with and create your own community, create your own sense of support, create a network of people that are, how they do business, and you're comfortable saying, hey, so-and-so is going to step in and do this showing for you because I'm going to be in this other side of town, but like they've got my back. Right. So I think
that's important.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, there's days where you just get, I've had it.
Or you're sick.
Yeah, or you're sick.
You catch the flu.
Yeah. Then what do you do?
Exactly. Yep. You can't leave your clients high and dry. So
kind of a co-op.
Little
co-op action of individual deals.
Yeah.
I think it's important because it's also a sounding board, right?
100%.
So EXP, you got your emoji on your the computer where you can go to those meetings.
Yes. I've only had to go into the EXP world
yes, that's right.
a few times, but yeah, you have like your little avatar that walks around and goes into the different meetings. Yep. Explaining that to other people who are like interested in EXP, they're like,
I'm telling you what,
though.
It's cool though, because you've got the classes.
Yes.
And you can walk into these, it's like your virtual, right? And so, I mean, it's a great way to learn. It's a great way for you to pick up things that whereas maybe a team that as a team lead will tell you it all.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the world, they have every single, I think it's Wednesdays now, there's a forms class, just like a brick and mortar brokerage would host trainings every week. The brokers have office hours. So just like you would walk into a broker's office at a traditional brick and mortar office, you go into the world and you get your little ticket and you wait in line. I say wait in line, but I've never waited for more than like 2 minutes. But yeah, you sit down at a little virtual table with your broker and talk about whatever you need to talk about. So
boy, that is, and that's a cool thing about that. But I applaud you for making that transition because it's hard enough to go from a 12-hour day deal where you have to be there all the time. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden you're on your own going, wake up in the morning, what do I do today?
Yeah, and I wouldn't say, being a solo agent is perfect for everyone. There's certainly people, just entering that need a little bit more structure.
Yes.
They need the formal trainings that, a different brokerage or a team would help provide, because there's some teams in the metro that have phenomenal training programs.
Of course they do. Yep.
But I felt like with my experience on the new construction side, they're certainly not the same thing.
Correct.
But I felt like I knew enough to be dangerous, and I knew where to find the answers when I needed to.
I think that what your personality and your attention to detail is perfect for what you got. Right? Because you've got that community around you, not only for where you live, but you got background and people that have closed with you. And you may say, I don't have that much experience. You got plenty of experience. There's many with way less and many with way less success. Right? So I give you props for that.
Well, thank you.
What, give me, wrapping this up kind of, give me 2 or 3 pieces of advice. We've got 950 agents. 950, now get this as your friend, but give us some advice on some pieces that you have found to be a pain in the ass or that thank God you've got told
Yeah.
to help you out?
Gosh, I like finding your people, I think is the biggest part of this. I mean, all of us know that there's a atrocious failure rate in real estate in the
Yes.
first couple of years. You're a lot less likely to quit something when people around you would notice that you're gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So finding your people that care about you and want to support you, they're not in competition. They want to see you succeed. So whether that's joining a team or finding a collaboration to plug into, or just like clinging on to someone else who's been in the industry for a few years and being able to text them with questions. Yeah, finding a mentor, because it's a lot easier to step back and give up on something when no one would notice you were gone.
Of course.
So
I believe it was Aaron Duckworth that had talked about having our board of directors.
yes,
Right? The Ashleys, the accountants, the mentor,
Yep.
your coach per se, that are all on your team
Yep.
to keep you focused. Because I promise you, if you go AWOL, Ashley's going to kick your ass and call you and say, "Where are you?" You know,
I don't have any files from you. What are you doing?
Or, please, Jake does it for me. I mean, he keeps me accountable, right? And I think that partnership is critical. So coaching wise, do you have a coach? I mean, how are you learning
I
the
don't
business?
have a coach, but the way that EXP is structured,
Yep.
I can be a solo agent without a team and still have support from the people above me.
Love it.
So in EXP, we call it an upline.
Yeah.
So above me, I have some phenomenal agents who have been in the industry longer than I have, who are doing more production than I am. I mean, reaching their level would be an absolute dream. But it's bigger fish in the pond, right? That you can look up to, who have been through my stage before, who have been through that first year. That's really a grind. To start getting traction and seeing success and being able to lean into them and learn, their lead gen strategies and what worked and what hasn't worked. And,
that's important.
so yeah, I don't have a coach, but they are invested in seeing me succeed.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I've got some tremendous friends at EXP that are amazing, that would love to help you out and to be that resource for you, whether it's on Lake Minnetonka, whether it's, whatever the case, maybe up north,
Yep.
right, to where you may not be. So we'll talk about that more as well. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you being on the Realtor of the Week.
Well, thank you.
You are an amazing person, Leslie, and I thank you, Ashley, for bringing this up. It's tremendous. So thank you for being on as a Realtor of the Week.
Yeah, if it's okay, I'll include a little shameless plug at the end.
I love it. Go ahead.
If
Have
there's
at it.
any realtors out there, whether you're solo or on a team and just looking for a little bit more connection, a business partner and I, so Piper Cosell, she's another one you should have on the show.
I love it.
But we lead a group called the Rising Tide.
Yes.
And it's industry wide. It's not specific to brokerage or realtors. So it's realtors, lenders. Ashley is on it as our TC. I would love some title people to be on. We just had a guest speaker from a title company. We all learned so much. We have an inspector, and we just get on. We listen to guest speakers on specific topics or help each other problem solve. So that's something we do bi-weekly through the summer. We might switch it back to weekly after that.
And then you get together once a week. It's done by Zoom.
Yep.
And then they get together once a month. Terrific deal. How do people get a hold of you? Website?
Easiest is probably Instagram. I'm most active on Instagram.
And what is that?
LeslieNelson.realtor.
Okay.
Yeah. There is one. Oh, this is a horror story. There is one that says _realtor too. Don't do that one. I had a personal Instagram, learn from this people. I had a personal Instagram that had 700 followers or whatever it was. I wasn't super active on it, but then I went to the existing side and I was like, I want to switch this over to being a business. So I changed the handle, I changed the picture, I changed the contact info, and Instagram said, you've been hacked, but it was actually me doing it. And they shut it down, but it was connected to a MSU, like Mankato email that I had no access to anymore. So I couldn't recover it. So There's one that doesn't have any posts. Don't follow that one.
So what is the proper one?
So it's LeslieNelson.realtor.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it. Leslie Nelson, and then Jake will post all this stuff, right? When he does your promotional piece, phone numbers will be there,
Okay.
emails, Instagrams, etc. So, thank you. I appreciate you,
Yeah,
Leslie.
thanks for having
You
me
are
on.
an amazing lady, and I applaud you for doing what you're doing. And thank you for being our Realtor of the Week.
Thanks.
Thank you all. We appreciate you being on this Realtor Connect group and Facebook. Please come follow us not only on this group, ask your Realtor friends to join, but also Instagram and YouTube. We get to listen to brilliant people like this and what makes them rock. And without you guys, we're not here. So thank you. I appreciate y'all. Have a good week.